A warrior in the stars, Hiroshi Takeda had once been a legend on Earth, his name whispered in awe as the last of the samurai. Long before the stars became his battlefield, he had upheld the ancient ways of honor and discipline, cutting down enemies with a single stroke of his blade. But the passage of time had transformed Hiroshi. Humanity had evolved. It had left Earth behind, colonized the galaxy, and embraced technology in ways Hiroshi could never have imagined. Yet, he had never abandoned his roots. Now the captain of the Shogun's Blade, a massive interstellar vessel designed for exploration, Hiroshi carried the weight of his heritage. His crew, a diverse group of humans and aliens, admired him not only for his martial prowess, but for the wisdom he imparted. But it was his reputation as a fierce, unwavering protector that kept them loyal. As they traveled through the stars, Hiroshi's mind always returned to one thought. The ancient code of the samurai would be his compass, no matter how far from Earth he roamed. One day, the crew detected a strange anomaly, a massive energy signature emanating from an uncharted planet. It pulsed with an unnatural rhythm, unlike anything Hiroshi had ever encountered. The planet, called Nix 3, had no known inhabitants. Yet as the crew landed, an eerie feeling crept into Hiroshi's heart. He knew something awaited them there, something dark and ancient. The moment their boots touched the ground, a wave of oppressive silence descended upon them. The ruins of an ancient alien city stood before them, its architecture impossible to comprehend, as if it was designed by beings who existed beyond the boundaries of time and space. Hiroshi's instincts told him to be cautious, but the crew was eager to explore, unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows. The shadow strikes. The moment the crew ventured deeper into the ruins, the air grew thick, charged with a strange energy. Hiroshi felt it first, an unseen force pulling at his mind. It was like a whisper, a presence just at the edge of his consciousness. The others dismissed it as the strange atmosphere of the alien world, but Hiroshi knew better. As they entered the heart of the ruins, the attacks began. At first they were subtle, a crew member stumbling, a momentary lapse in judgment, a strange, inexplicable fear gripping their hearts. But then, the Zirith revealed themselves. They were unlike anything Hiroshi had ever imagined. They were not creatures of flesh and blood, but beings of pure energy, able to shift between physical and psychic forms at will. Their minds reached out to the crew, whispering dark promises of power, their voices a cacophony of every nightmare Hiroshi had ever faced. The Zirith were telepathic, controlling thoughts, manipulating desires, and sowing discord among the crew. One by one, they fell under the sway of the alien invaders. But not Hiroshi. His mind was a fortress, built by years of discipline and meditation. When the Zirith tried to cloud his judgment, his ancient training allowed him to see through their illusions. His sword, Kage Ken, pulsed with a strange light as though it was alive, recognizing the threat they posed. With a roar, Hiroshi unsheathed his katana, and the blade glowed like a star in the darkness. He cut through the illusions of the Zirith with ruthless precision, striking down the invisible forces that sought to tear his crew apart. Each swing of the blade shattered the mental chains that bound his comrades, freeing them from the aliens. Influence one cut at a time. As the Zirith revealed themselves fully, Hiroshi's crew stood in awe. The creatures were shapeless, their forms constantly shifting and flowing like liquid shadows. But Hiroshi didn't hesitate. His blade was an extension of his will, and with every move he pushed back the alien invaders. The duel of minds, Hiroshi's victory was short-lived. The Zirith were not mindless creatures. They were a highly organized race, and they had a leader, a being known as the Veil. Unlike the other Zirith, the Veil did not rely solely on psychic manipulation. She was a master of mind and matter, able to twist reality itself to her will. Hiroshi felt her presence before he ever saw her. It was as if she had always been there, watching him from the shadows, waiting for the moment to strike. She spoke into his mind, her voice a whisper in the depths of his soul. "You cannot win, samurai. I have seen your past. I know your fears." She showed him visions, of the fallen samurai of Earth, of his ancient sword rusting away, of his people scattered to the wind, their way of life lost. But Hiroshi stood firm. His honor was unshakable. He had seen countless battles in his lifetime, but none like this. This was not just a fight of physical strength. This was a war of wills. The battle between them was not fought with weapons, but with the mind. The veil tried to twist his perceptions, to break him with illusions of failure, loss, and hopelessness. She took him to the dark corners of his past, showing him every failure, every mistake. But Hiroshi, with the power of his ancestors flowing through him, held his ground. He summoned the discipline of the samurai, never to give up, never to surrender. His mind became a sword, sharper than the one in his hand. With every thought, he cut through the veil's deceptions, and with every stroke of his blade, he broke free from the illusions that sought to bind him. Finally, with a cry of defiance, Hiroshi struck. The illusion shattered, and the veil was no more. But even as she fell, she warned him. This is only the beginning, samurai. The Zirith will return. The final stand with the Zirith Queen defeated. Hiroshi and his crew thought victory was assured. But as they discovered, the veil had not been the mastermind. She was merely a pawn in a greater game. The true invasion was yet to come. The Zirith, as it turned out, had planned to invade Earth. Their long-term strategy involved infiltrating human leadership across the galaxy, starting with Hiroshi's own crew. Their psychic manipulation had gone unnoticed for years, slowly twisting minds and preparing humanity for subjugation. With the knowledge of their true intentions, Hiroshi knew that the only way to stop them was to destroy their homeworld. But this wasn't an easy decision. The Zirith were an ancient race, and their destruction would leave a power vacuum, potentially leading to chaos in the galaxy. Hiroshi, with the weight of his decision on his shoulders, sought counsel from his crew. The decision was not his alone to make. In a daring final mission, Hiroshi and his crew infiltrated the heart of the Zirith Empire. Their final confrontation was not just one of bloodshed, but of strategy. The Zirith were cunning and powerful, but Hiroshi's mastery of combat and his leadership gave them the edge. With Keiji no Ken in hand, Hiroshi faced down the last of the Zirith warlords. It was a battle of wills, each trying to outthink and outfight the other. But in the end, Hiroshi's resolve won. With a final strike, he shattered the core of the Zirith's empire, saving the galaxy from their grasp. A new dawn, the galaxy was safe, but at great cost. Hiroshi and his crew returned to their ship, weary but resolute. The samurai had once again proven that honor and courage could defeat even the most terrifying of enemies. But Hiroshi knew the war was not over. The galaxy was vast, and many threats remained. The legacy of the samurai had been revived in the stars. Hiroshi Takeda had not only saved his crew, but he had reignited the flame of honor in a galaxy that had nearly forgotten. Yet his tale would be remembered for centuries to come as the story of the warrior who fought not just with his sword, but with his heart. The way forward, as the stars stretched before him, Hiroshi looked out into the endless expanse. His duty was far from over. There were more battles to fight, more threats to face. But now, he had a new purpose. The samurai code was more than a set of rules. It was a way of life. And in the vastness of space, it was the only thing that could guide him through the darkness. Hiroshi's crew, once uncertain, now looked to him as a beacon of hope. With their hearts aligned and their resolve hardened, they set forth once more into the unknown, knowing that with Hiroshi at their side, no alien force would ever conquer them.